I am Nitin Naik. Again we are here to discuss the second content of the first unit of engineering mechanics, and this is, as discussed earlier, this is a brief syllabus of unit 1, that is system of forces, and these are the contents of today's presentation. First we will discuss graphical representation of a force, then concept of resultant, methods of finding resultant, triangle law, then law of polygon of forces, then parallelogram of forces. We will start with graphical representation of a force. So, as we know, force is a vector quantity and vector can be represented graphically. So, it is one of the characteristics of a vector. It can be represented graphically, and force is a vector quantity. So, force can be represented graphically by drawing a line parallel to the line of action of given force, of course with some suitable scale. Okay. So, in our case we are having a force F of magnitude 25 kilonewton making an angle of 30 degrees with horizontal. So, this is the force under consideration, and now we have to represent this force graphically. So, to represent a force or any vector graphically, first we have to select some suitable scale. So, here we will select suitable scale. 1 centimeter is equal to 5 kilonewton. It means that a line of length 1 centimeter on paper will represent the quantity having magnitude 5 kilonewton. So, here the quantity of the vector which is to be represented is 25 kilonewton. Therefore, according to the scale we have to draw a line of 5 centimeter. So, to represent this force graphically, draw a line parallel to the line of action of given force with some suitable scale or with the scale. So, here we will draw a line parallel to the line of action of given force. Remember, here this is the direction of force which is actually measured with the help of protractor. And now, let us draw a line parallel to line of action of given force with this scale. So, if we are using this scale to represent a force of 25 kilonewton, we have to draw a line of length 5 centimeter. So, draw a line having length 5 centimeter parallel to line of action of given force and draw an arrowhead. So, here length of this line represents the magnitude of force and arrowhead indicates its direction. So, in this way, simply by drawing a line parallel to the line of action of given force, we can represent a force graphically. Okay. And now, let us switch over to the concept of resultant of a force system. So, what is meant by resultant? So, let us define the term resultant. Resultant of two or more forces is a single force which has the same effect on a body as produced by the forces acting together. It is denoted by R, capital R. So, resultant of two or more forces is a single force which has the same effect on a body as produced by the forces while acting together. It is denoted by letter R. It means that if number of forces are acting on a body, then we can replace those forces by a single force, and that single force is called as a resultant of the forces. Or alternatively, it can be defined as it is a single force which can replace number of forces and produce the same effect So, here we are having a cart on which 3 forces are acting, 1 Newton, 2 Newton and 3 Newton. So, we can replace these 3 forces by a single force which will produce the same effect on this trolley as produced by all these 3 forces. So, here we are considering a simple case of parallel forces having magnitude 1, 2 and 3 Newton. So, if we add algebraically all these 3 forces, we will be having a single force of 6 Newton, and thus we can replace these 3 forces by a single force, and this force is called as net force or resultant force. So, this is the resultant of the given forces, given 3 forces. So, we can replace, it means that we can replace these 3 forces by this single force to have the same effect, and this single force is called as resultant of the given forces. So, it is also true that we can replace this single force by number of forces in reverse direction, but here at present we are discussing the concept of resultant. So, resultant of two or more forces, two forces are required to form a system, and hence resultant of two or more forces is a single force which has the same effect on a body as produced by all forces acting together. So, this is definition of resultant. Resultant is a force and hence it is a vector quantity having magnitude as well as direction, that we will be discussing in due course of time. Now, what are the different methods of finding the resultant of concurrent force system? So, there are two methods of finding resultant of a concurrent force system. So, first method is called as graphical method, while the second method is called as analytical method. So, under graphical method, we will be discussing about triangle law of forces and polygon law of forces, while under analytical methods, we shall discuss about law of parallelogram of forces and method of resolution. So, let us discuss one by one. Triangle law of forces. Remember, triangle law of forces is applicable for two forces only. Okay. So, it states that if two forces acting at a point are represented graphically by the sides of triangle taken in order, then the line joining the beginning of first force to the end of last force represents the resultant of two forces in magnitude and direction. So, this is statement of triangle law. Again I am reading the statement. It states that if two forces acting at a point are represented graphically by the sides of triangle taken in order, then the line joining the beginning of the first force to the end of last force represents the resultant of the two forces in magnitude and direction. So, let us consider a case. Here we are having two forces F1 and F2 acting at this point, and angle between them is alpha, and our problem is to find resultant of these two forces. Okay. So, now we will use triangle law. Remember, triangle law is useful to find resultant of two forces only. If there are three forces, you cannot use triangle law. So, here two forces are acting and we are using triangle law to find resultant of these two forces. So, now let us follow the statement. If two forces are acting at a point, so these are the two forces acting at a point, are represented graphically by the sides of triangle taken in order. This is important, taken in order. So, these are the two forces. Now, let us represent these two forces graphically. Now, we know how to represent a force graphically. Select some suitable scale, draw a line parallel to the line of action of given force, and thus force can be represented graphically. So, here F1 is represented graphically by drawing a line parallel to line of action of given force and with some suitable scale. So, this is F1. Taken in order means this is F1 and here F1 ends. So, from the end point of F1, draw a line parallel to F2. So, this is line parallel to F2. This is called as taken in order. First force and then second force taken in order. Then the line joining the beginning of first force. This is beginning of first force. Okay. This is end of first force. End of first force is beginning of second force, and this is end of second force. So, the line joining the beginning of first force to the end of last force or the second force represents the resultant of the system in magnitude and direction. So, here this closing side of a triangle, it represents the resultant of these two forces F1 and F2 in magnitude. Means if you measure length of this line and if you multiply this length by the scale, you will be having magnitude of resultant. And direction. Direction means angle made by the force with some fixed reference line. So, here we can measure the direction of resultant with horizontal. So, in this way resultant of two forces can be obtained using triangle law of forces. Now, second law is polygon law of forces. Polygon law of forces, now let us discuss its statement. It states that if number of forces acting at a point, so remember polygon law of forces is applicable when number of forces are acting at a point, while the previous law, that is triangle law, is useful for two forces only. Now, here we are talking about number of forces. If number of forces are acting at a point are represented graphically, again we have to represent the forces graphically by the by the sides of a polygon taken in order, sides of a polygon taken in order, then the line joining the beginning of the first force to the end of last force represents the resultant of the forces in magnitude and direction. So, this statement is similar to triangle law, but here this polygon law is applicable for number of forces, and accordingly the statement changes. If number of forces acting at a point, so here number of forces are acting at a point, are represented graphically. We know how to represent a force graphically by drawing a line parallel to line of action of given force with some suitable scale. Graphically, by the sides of polygon taken in order, means first force, then second, then third, then fourth, and then fifth, etc. Okay. Then the line joining the beginning of the first force, again it is similar to triangle law. Beginning of the first force to the end of the last force represents the resultant of the forces in magnitude and direction. So, here we are having 5 forces F1, F2, F3, F4 and F5. Okay. So, let us start with F1. Our problem is find resultant of all these forces. So, draw a line parallel to F1 with some suitable scale. So, this is F1. From the end of F1, draw a line parallel to F2, of course with some suitable scale. So, this is F2 represented graphically. Then from the end of F2, draw a line parallel to F3. Now F3 is represented graphically in this figure. From the end of F3, draw a line parallel to F4. This is F4. So, F4, and from the end of F4, draw a line parallel to F5. So, this is line parallel to F5, and then the line joining the beginning of first force. This is first force. Beginning of first force to the end of last force represents the resultant in magnitude and direction. So, this closing side of polygon, it represents the resultant of all these forces. So, this is resultant of number of forces F1, F2, F3, F4 and F5. If you measure length of closing side of polygon multiplied by the scale selected, then it will give us magnitude of the forces, and its direction can be measured by drawing a horizontal line through this point like this and measure angle made by resultant with horizontal. So, in this way resultant of number of forces can be obtained graphically using law of polygon of forces, while triangle law is used for 2 forces only. When there are more than 2 forces, we should use polygon law of forces. Okay. Now, let us switch over to analytical method. In analytical method we are performing calculations. Okay. So, analytical method. So, first one is law of parallelogram of forces. Now, what is the statement of this law? I am reading the statement. It states that if 2 forces acting at a point are represented graphically by the adjacent sides of parallelogram, then the diagonal of the parallelogram passing through their point of intersection represents the resultant in magnitude and direction. Okay. So, here we will construct a polygon graphically, and then we will use analytical solution to find the resultant. Now, for example, in our problem now again F1 and F2, these are the 2 forces acting at point O. Say this is point O. Remember, this is analytical method, point O. Angle between F1 and F2, these 2 forces is alpha. So, now onwards we will be using letter alpha for angle between the 2 forces. Okay. Now, let us construct a parallelogram. Draw a line parallel to F1. So, this is line parallel to F1. Now, I will indicate this force by P. F1 is indicated by P, and draw a second force graphically, means line parallel to F2, adjacent side of parallelogram. So, these are the 2 adjacent sides of a parallelogram. So, 2 forces are represented graphically by the adjacent sides of parallelogram P and Q, and now construct a parallelogram like this. So, this is parallelogram. This side is equal to Q, this side is equal to P, and this is the parallelogram. Okay. Then the diagonal of the parallelogram passing through the point of intersection of these 2 forces represents the resultant. So, if you connect this point of intersection to the opposite point, it will represent the resultant. If you are drawing or if you are finding graphically the resultant, then simply you have to measure the diagonal of the parallelogram. It will give you resultant in magnitude. This is resultant in magnitude and direction. Direction means angle made by the resultant with horizontal. And if you observe it carefully, this is nothing but triangle law of forces. P first force, Q second force, and the closing side of triangle. It represents the resultant. But here we will using it in the form of parallelogram of forces by constructing a parallelogram like this. Okay. Now, how to calculate resultant analytically? The magnitude of resultant can be obtained analytically using equation R is equal to under root of P square plus Q square plus twice PQ cos of alpha. So, this equation can be used to find the magnitude. Now, how to develop this equation? Now, here I will let us extend P by dotted line. This is the dotted line. Okay. So, P is extended by dotted line, and from this point drop a perpendicular on the dotted line. So, this is the perpendicular. Okay. Now, we know this angle, this is alpha, and therefore, this is equal to alpha, and hence in this triangle this side is equal to Q cos of alpha. This is trigonometry, Q cos of alpha. So, this dotted line is equal to Q cos of alpha, this vertical dotted line is equal to Q sin alpha. Okay. And now we are interested in R. So, now I will consider a triangle like this, right angle triangle, hypotenuse, vertical side and horizontal side, and angle, this is angle theta. So, I will consider this right angle triangle. Okay. And I am interested in R, hypotenuse. So, using Pythagoras theorem, R is equal to under root of P square plus Q cos of alpha square plus Q sin of alpha square. Now, if you simplify this equation, it will be in the form of R is equal to under root of P square plus Q square plus twice PQ into cos of alpha. Okay. So, no one will ask you to derive this equation. Okay. But it can be derived like this: R square is equal to x square plus y square. So, P square plus Q cos of alpha square plus Q sin of alpha square. Okay. And then it yields R is equal to under root of P square plus Q square plus twice PQ cos of alpha. And the direction of resultant. So, this is direction of resultant, angle made by the resultant with horizontal. Direction of resultant, it can be obtained using this equation: tan of theta is equal to Q sin alpha upon P plus Q cos alpha. Again, this equation is derived using trigonometry. In this triangle, right angle triangle, see, this is the right angle triangle. Tan of theta is equal to y means Q sin alpha upon x, P plus Q cos alpha. So, tan of theta is equal to y Q sin alpha upon x, x is P plus Q cos of alpha. So, in this way, this law of parallelogram can be used to find resultant of two forces in magnitude as well as in direction. Now, let us discuss the numerical problems, okay, using law of parallelogram of forces. So, I am reading the statement: two forces are applied as shown to a hook. Determine the magnitude and direction of their resultant using the parallelogram law. So, figure is given. On this hook, two forces are acting, 900 Newton and 600 Newton, and this is angle between the two forces 45 degrees. This is angle made by 900 Newton force with horizontal 30 degrees. Okay. So, now two forces are acting and their resultant is required. So, when a problem is related to two forces and their resultant, we should use law of parallelogram of forces, because we know law of parallelogram of forces is applicable when resultant of two forces is required. Okay. And it is also mentioned in the problem using parallelogram law. So, we have to use this law. If you are solving the problem using different method, examiner will not give you marks. So, strictly you have to use parallelogram law. Okay? And we know the equation of parallelogram is in terms of R, that is resultant unknown, P, Q and alpha. So, let us use this nomenclature for the given problem. So, here I will use P for 900 Newton force. So, P is equal to 900, hence Q is equal to 600, and alpha means angle between P and Q. So, alpha is equal to 45 degree. Now, simply use the first equation to calculate magnitude and the second equation to calculate the direction. So, R is equal to under root of P square plus Q square plus twice PQ cos of alpha. P is 900. So, under root of 900 square plus Q square 600 square plus twice PQ, 2 times 900 into 600 into cos of alpha 45. Alpha is angle between P and Q, cos of alpha. Hence, R is equal to 1390.56 Newton. So, this is magnitude of resultant of these two forces. Very simple problem, straightforward problem. P is given, Q is given, alpha is given, find R and theta. Now, let us move to direction. Direction means angle made by the resultant with some reference line, and when you are using law of parallelogram of forces, theta is angle made by the resultant with P only, So, you must know what is mean by theta. So, let us calculate theta. Tan of theta is equal to Q sin alpha upon P plus Q cos alpha is equal to Q 600 sin of 45 plus Q P 900 plus 600 into cos of 45 is equal to 0.320. Hence, theta is equal to tan inverse of 0.320. It will be equal to 17.76. So, it means that angle made by the resultant will act in between these two forces. Angle made by the resultant with P is 17.76, and if I ask you to calculate angle made by this resultant with horizontal, then simply you will add 30 degrees in 17.76, because we know theta is angle made by the resultant. See, resultant is acting like this, angle made by the resultant with P 17.76 and with horizontal 17.76 plus 30. So, 47.76. So, in this way resultant of two forces can be obtained using law of parallelogram of forces. Okay. Now, let us move to the next problem. A stake is being pulled out of the ground by means of two ropes as shown. So, again figure is given. This is stake or a nail which is to be pulled out by applying two forces as shown in figure. Okay. Determine magnitude of resultant R. Again we have to calculate magnitude of resultant R if P is equal to 101.4 Newton and the resultant force exerted on the stake is vertical. So, everything is given. Here two forces are applied on the stake. Okay. Angle between the two forces is given 25 and 30 degrees. P is equal to 101.4 Newton. When you are calling first force as P, the second will be automatically Q. So, Q is equal to 120 Newton. Find the resultant of the forces is vertical. So, resultant is acting like this, vertically upward or in vertical direction like this. So, this is the direction of resultant. Resultant is vertical. Okay. Vertical. Okay. And here we have to determine magnitude of resultant R. Magnitude of resultant R. Again, the problem is related to resultant of two forces, and when resultant of two forces is required, it is better to use law of parallelogram of forces. There are other methods also, but at present we will discuss law of parallelogram of forces only. Okay. So, let us determine the resultant in magnitude and direction. So, we are having two unknowns, magnitude and direction. This is magnitude, this is direction, and we are having two equations, first equation and the second equation. So, let us start with the first equation. Before that, let us use our nomenclature. P is given 101.4 Newton, and hence the second force will be equal to Q. Q is 120 Newton. Okay. Now we are using this nomenclature P, Q, alpha. What is alpha? Alpha is angle between P and Q. So here alpha is equal to 30 plus 25, 55 degrees. Okay. So P is known, Q is known, alpha is given. So we can use first equation. R is equal to under root of P square plus Q square plus twice PQ cos of alpha. R is equal to under root of P square 101.4 square plus Q square 120 square plus 2 times P into Q into cos of 55. Thus R will be equal to 196.56 Newton. So this is magnitude of resultant R, which is acting vertically as stated in the problem, and hence if resultant is acting vertically, then its direction will be equal to 30 degrees with reference to P, because theta is angle made by the resultant with P. So theta is 30 degree, but if you want to verify it, you can use the second equation. Tan of theta is equal to Q sin alpha upon P plus Q cos alpha. If you write values of P, Q and alpha in this equation, you will be having theta is equal to 30 degrees. Okay. Now actually in this problem, direction of resultant is given. Resultant is vertical. So we know the direction of resultant, we need not have to calculate theta. Theta, if resultant is acting vertically, theta will be equal to 30 degrees. Theta is angle made by resultant with P. But if you want to verify it, you can verify it by using the second equation. Theta is equal to 30 degrees. Now let us move to the next problem. Two forces are applied to an eye bolt fastened to a beam. Determine the magnitude and direction of their resultant. So the system is like this. This is a beam and this is eye bolt connected to the beam, and these are the two forces acting on the beam, on the eye bolt. Sorry. Angle made by 4.5 kilonewton force with horizontal 25, angle made by 6 kilonewton force with horizontal is 50 degrees. Find resultant of the two forces. So resultant of two forces means straightforward, we should go to law of parallelogram of forces, and we know the equations in law of parallelogram of forces. R is equal to under root of P square plus Q square plus twice PQ cos of alpha. So to calculate resultant using law of parallelogram of forces, we must know P, Q and alpha. So P, one of the forces we can indicate by letter P. So here let P is equal to 6 kilonewton. When P is used for 6 kilonewton force, the second force automatically it will be Q. So Q is equal to 4.5 kilonewton. What is alpha in this equation? Alpha is angle between P and Q. So this angle can be obtained 50 plus 25, 75. Angle between P and Q 75. So let us use the first equation to determine the magnitude. R is equal to under root of P square plus Q square plus twice PQ into cos of alpha. R is equal to under root of 6 square plus 4.5 square plus 2 into 6 into 4.5 cos of 75. So it gives us magnitude of resultant 8.380 Newton. Now to calculate the direction, let us use the second equation. Tan of theta is equal to Q sin alpha upon P plus Q into cos of alpha. So Q is equal to 4.5 sin of 75 upon 6 plus 4.5 cos of 75. The answer is tan of theta is equal to 0.606, and hence theta is equal to tan inverse of 0.606 is equal to 31.24 degrees with P, because we know the meaning of theta. Theta is angle made by the resultant with P, and our P is 6 kilonewton force. So theta is 31.24 degrees with P. So somewhere here the resultant is acting. Now someone may ask you to find the angle made by this resultant with horizontal. So angle made by the resultant with horizontal is 50. This is resultant, and angle between resultant and P is 31.24. This is 31.24, and we need this angle. So 50 minus 31.24, it will be equal to 18.25. So in this way we can determine resultant of two forces in magnitude and direction using law of parallelogram of forces. So this is all about the concept of resultant and finding resultant of two forces graphically as well as analytically. In the next lecture, we shall discuss about different methods to find the resultant of number of forces as well as resultant of two forces. Thank you.